a.m. Before we get started, I will ask Stephanie Nojiri to please read the public comment notice.
Public comment will be accepted in person and through the Q&A function. Please include your first name, last name, and municipality for all comments. Any comments without name and municipality will not be considered. Each citizen can submit one comment. Comment length is dictated by limitations of the platform being used, Teams Q&A. In-person comments will be accepted first, followed by comments submitted virtually. The meeting comment period is limited to a total of 30 minutes, including both in-person and virtual comments. This time period may be extended at the county's discretion. Please be concise. Comments that are germane to county business will be read during the meeting and should not be considered to be interactive dialogue. The county shall be the final arbiter of whether a comment is germane and should be read. Any response to public comment will be done at the county's discretion.
Okay, thank you very much, Stephanie. Now move on to public comment on agenda items. We do not have anything in person, and we do not have any online which are related to agenda items. Before I move on, I just want to confirm Commissioner Leinbach was going to join us virtually. Has he been able to join us?
Yes, I'm on.
Okay. Thank you very much, Commissioner Leinbach. Just wanted to make that note that you are joining us virtually today. We'll now move to the approval of the minutes from August the 7th. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? If none, the minutes stand approved as presented. We'll now start with our agenda items. The first item is Election Day additional county staff workers, and we will discuss and approve compensation and shifts for additional county staff working on Election Day. So, Ann?
Good morning.
Morning.
So this is for Election Day, the county workers that help us process the mail-in ballots and also the call center workers here. So we're looking for similar numbers that we used in the primary. The same number of shifts. We're going to go with 3 shifts. And the compensation is also similar, $200 for any county worker working that day, same as the poll worker pay. Plus it's a county holiday, so they would receive their holiday pay. Anyone working a 3rd shift would also have the following day off of work, and they would need their supervisor permission for that. So again, we're looking for 64 total employees for the mail-in ballot pre-canvass, and that includes scanners, I believe, in that number to scan the ballots, and pod captains. And then the call center would be 16 employees in over 2 shifts. Rovers also included in that. We would employ 20 rovers.
Okay, and this is basically the same we've been doing for the last elections, really?
Correct.
No change, maybe a few less.
Yeah, we tweaked it a little bit. Yeah,
did,
right, but
yeah.
it's only 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What is the will of the board?
I will make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 None opposed. The motion carries. We'll now move on to agenda item number 2, which is the early processing of mail-in and absentee ballot applications. And this is a request from the Office of Election Services to begin processing mail-in and absentee ballot applications as they are received due to operational need. Statute allows 50 days prior to election for these to start being processed, but by action of the board, they can start doing that earlier, and this is what the office is asking for. Did I miss anything in?
No, you didn't. You are correct. It would be 50 days. So it's really a week and a half out. We are just looking to start it earlier. We'd like to get as many applications in that first batch of data as we can. So if the staff can begin now, we can get those processed and audited and ready to go.
We're estimating that the first batch will be about 20,000 mail-in ballots.
That's correct, yes.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 None opposed. The motion carries. Now move on to item number 3, which is the PA Liquor Control Board questionnaire. That is to review and approve the PA Liquor Control Board questionnaire pertaining to referendum questions related to retail liquor licenses, retail dispenser, wholesale distribution licenses, PA liquor stores, etc., that may appear on the upcoming 2025 municipal election ballot. And for this election, we do not have any questions that will be appearing on the ballot. Do we need any action on this then?
Yeah, because I would need to submit it to the state that we have no questions.
Okay, so we would be submitting the questionnaire indicating that there are no questions pertaining to liquor licenses.
I'll make
So
that
moved.
motion, Mr. Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 None opposed. The motion carries. Item number 4 is poll worker training and poll worker pay. And we are asked to approve the poll worker training schedules and compensation rates for the November 4, 2025 municipal election. And I'll ask Ann to go for those for us.
Right. So again, this is not different than we did in the primary, very similar schedule to train the poll workers. And the compensation rates would also be the same. So again, we're asking for $200 for everyone working on election day. The training rates for a judge of election, it would be $55. Any other poll workers training would be $30. Students are included in that as well. Students working would receive $30 for training. The rover training would be $75. Interpreter is the same as the judge of election, $55 for that. The judges would also receive $20 for supply pickup and return on election night. And anyone attending, these are county workers attending a call center training would receive $30. Again, it's the exact same rates that we've used in the past several elections.
Okay, just to note as well, the poll worker pay of $200, that is the maximum allowed by statute. And understanding it's a long day, a lot of hours put into that, a lot of work. So we do offer the maximum pay for that because of the work that our poll workers do. Do I have a motion to approve the poll worker training schedules and compensation rates?
So move. Second.
Second.
Oh, I thought he said so move. I'll make the motion. He gets.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
None opposed. The motion carries. Do want to add here that for the poll worker training, that training, it's the word I'm trying, it's changed, not changed, but improved upon after every election. We get the feedback
Yeah,
from
we
our
adapt
staff,
it, right.
and we get the feedback also from poll workers or that come in here and speak to the board, and issues that they see that need a little more attention or need to be done differently for the training, that is incorporated into the training. So thank you to all of those who provide that feedback. We want to make sure that we are providing the best training possible for our poll workers. Item number 5, proposed ballot Dropbox schedule. We will review and approve the proposed ballot Dropbox schedule for the 2025 municipal election. And this Dropbox schedule is the same as the primaries as well. There will also be 3 drop boxes as we had in the primaries as well, which is here at the services center. Once you come in the main door to your left, we will have one at the south campus, which will be the entrance, the door with the entrance to the MDJ there and the Reading redevelopment, the Berks County Redevelopment Authority. And the third one, which was changed in the primaries, is no longer at the Ag Center. It is now at the Reading Regional Airport. Once you come in, when you look at the airport from the front, it's the double doors to the right-hand side. Once you go in there in front of the sheriff's office, that's where the third drop box is located. The days and the hours remain the same as in the primaries.
I'll make that motion to approve that, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
None opposed. The motion carries. We'll now move on to item number 6, which is the executive order update. And we'll ask our solicitor to speak on that.
Thank you, Commissioner, and good morning, Election Board. As the board may recall, back in March 25th of this year, the President issued the executive order entitled Preserving and Protecting the Integrity of American Elections Executive Order. Part of that order directed the EAC, the Election Assistance Commission, to initiate appropriate action to amend the voluntary voting system guidelines. The current version is 2.0. To provide that voting system shall not use a ballot in which a vote is contained within a barcode or a quick response code in the vote counting process. As when we first discussed this shortly after the executive order was issued, I believe I did note that we do, use our voting systems do utilize this barcode. The timeline for this within the executive order was 180 days. Since the executive order was issued, the EAC has not formally amended the voluntary voting system guidelines, which the largest part of that is because it's quite a lengthy process to do so. However, the EAC's technical guidelines development committee, which is a product of HAVA, as are the voluntary voting system guidelines, they have held virtual meetings in July and August of this year, and I believe the next scheduled meeting is September. And the technical committee's members did discuss the executive order's language regarding barcodes, and there is a current draft of the voluntary voting system guidelines. It is draft 2.1, which contains proposed revised language with regard to barcodes. Specifically, I guess the most important part is it requires that barcode representations of a voter's ballot selection, quote, only be generated on an electronic voting system accessible by voters with disabilities. So it would make the usage of the barcode specific to the ADA context. The Technical Guidelines Committee ultimately assists the EAC with amending the voluntary voting system guidelines. Currently, it's unclear what the technical committee will do with this revised barcode language. Again, there's discussions ongoing. I don't think there's been any formal decision, though, from the technical committee as to whether or not they will formally recommend the VVSG 2.1 to the EAC. And if they do, what, if any, language it will include regarding the barcodes. I think it's important to note, even if the technical committee did endorse the barcode language, there's still a lengthy process which is set forth in HAVA for the EAC to formally adopt or modify the voluntary voting system guidelines. It requires publication of the notice in the Federal Register, an opportunity for public comment, an opportunity for public hearing, publication of the final guidelines, and then consideration of recommendations, of course, from the technical committee, but then also submission to a board of advisors and a standards board as well. So that's all a long way of saying that there have been discussions on the EAC's end about the barcode language within the executive order. There has been draft language formulated in response to that, but it is still at the technical committee stage. It's still at the early stage. Nothing has been finalized or formally adopted or recommended with regard to actually amending the voluntary voting system guidelines. Also, I think it should be noted that as its name suggests, these guidelines, voluntary voting system guidelines, are ultimately voluntary guidelines that are promulgated by the EAC unless they are specifically adopted by the states. Generally, with regard to voting systems, Pennsylvania does consider the voluntary voting system guidelines. So ultimately, if there is a formal change or modification to the guidelines, it's certainly something that we will take a look at and be prepared to address. But currently, it's kind of still in the early proceedings in those discussions. So nothing has been finalized that would affect our ability to use our current voting systems in November. I know the original timeline in the executive order was 180 days. I think that was more so to potentially get the process started. So that is where we currently stand with regard to the executive order as it relates to the barcodes. Certainly, it's something that we are going to keep an eye on as it moves forward, and at each stage how it would affect our ability to use our voting systems. But currently, it does not. And if there are any further developments with regard to the EAC or the technical committee, we will certainly apprise the board and further discuss at a public meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Cody. Now move on to item number 7, undated and incorrectly dated ballot litigation discussion. And I will again turn that over to our solicitor.
So in the latest undated and incorrectly dated ballot litigation update, as the board will recall, late March of this year, the Western District issued a decision in the Eakin v. Adams County matter, which found that the dating requirement places an impermissible burden on the right to vote, and as such is unconstitutional under the First and 14th Amendments of the U.S. Constitution. That decision was appealed to the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, and an expedited appellate schedule was approved by the court. Last Tuesday, the Third Circuit issued a decision which affirmed the Western District's decision. And in short, the Third Circuit's rationale was consistent with the Western District, and found that when weighing the interest against the burden on voters, the court was unable to justify the practice of discarding ballots contained with return envelopes that are missing or have incorrect dates on them. And so on that basis, the Third Circuit affirmed the Western District's decision. So currently, as it stands, this decision will not require us to change anything on our end. We were following the Western District's decision. We were counting the undated and incorrectly dated ballots pursuant to the Western District's decision. However, it is likely that a writ of certiorari to the U.S. Supreme Court will be sought, asking them to review the Third Circuit's decision. And in conjunction with that, a stay may be sought of the Third Circuit's decision. If a stay would be granted of the Third Circuit's decision, then the law, I believe, would revert back to the Ball v. Chapman decision, as we're all aware of. And but another consideration is also that the Baxter case is hanging out at the PA Supreme Court, which the PA Supreme Court is currently deciding whether or not the dating requirement violates the Free and Equal Elections Clause of the PA Constitution. So that decision is also hanging out there. I believe we're expecting a decision in the relatively near future on that case as well. So for now, there's still, unfortunately, ongoing litigation and some level of uncertainty regarding incorrectly dated and undated ballots in Pennsylvania. But the Third Circuit's decision is at least another step in the right direction toward getting finality, and will not require us, as it currently stands, to change our practices.
Thank you, Cody. So as of now, practice stays the same, but again, that could change at any time before the November election. So
So the next step on the Eakin case would go to the U.S. Supreme Court. And
Yes.
the next and final step would be,
Correct.
if they decide to hear it.
Yes, correct. They would, a writ of certiorari would need to be filed asking them to review the case, and then they would have to decide whether or not they were going to review it.
Thank you.
okay. Thank you very much. All right, we'll now move to our election director's report. Ann.
So I can let you know that we celebrated National Poll Worker Recruitment Day here in Berks, the press conference here in this boardroom. We had the Secretary of State, Al Schmidt, here. We also had, I think there was 5 poll workers, Berks County poll workers attend. We had a few speak about their experiences as poll workers, why they do it, why they keep coming back, kind of what got them into it. They all answered questions from the press, and I can report that as a result, shortly after that press conference, we did receive some poll worker interest specifically based on that. That was the feedback we got. So that was good. We were happy to get some new poll workers in. Our office is working on finalizing the ballot. We're getting ready for the November election. Poll worker letters will be sent out shortly, just getting them signed up for training. And we will also begin, as was approved this morning, processing mail-in and absentee ballot applications. We currently, as Commissioner Rivera stated this morning, we do have about 20,000 that will be in the first batch. Almost 19,000 of those are permanent that kind of rolled over from the primary. We do have about 500 applications to process, so we'll begin that shortly. And that's all.
That's it. Okay. Any questions for Ann? Okay. And so are you still recruiting poll workers?
Yeah, we currently don't have a feel for poll workers returning or not, but we're always
Okay.
looking for new poll workers. So anyone interested can certainly submit that interest to our office, and we'll look to see what we have open.
Right. So we're looking for poll workers and interpreters
Interpreters as well,
So
yes.
If you know of anyone, one of the poll workers that was working here, that was at the press conference, was stating he had a neighbor that wasn't sure about the integrity of the electoral process and how that worked. He invited him to be a poll worker, worked at the poll once and has been working there since, and his thought on that process has changed. So I'd
Yeah.
encourage everyone to invite families, friends, neighbors to become poll workers and be involved in the process from the inside, not just from the outside. So thank you. Okay. General comments from the board regarding current election-related issues. Nothing from Commissioner Linebaugh either, nor Commissioner Santoni. Okay, we'll now move to the public comment section, and we do have one person for public comment in person. So I'll ask Jeff. Jeff is already there. Jeff, full name, municipality. You know the drill. 3 minutes, and Stephanie will be taking the time. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jeff Wolf, and I'm from Brecknock Township. I just wanted to report on some, what I believe, good news as far as elections. Department of Homeland Services made an announcement back on the 22nd of April that the SAVE database that we had talked about before was overhauled. They're eliminating fees for database searches. They streamline mass status checks. That's good. And my favorite, user-friendly interface. These reforms will empower federal, state, local agencies to prevent non-citizens from exploiting taxpayer benefits or voting illegally. Trump's executive orders from March 25th. There are some other good pieces, I think, from that that Cody did not mention, but Trump, part of the narrative is free, fair, and honest elections unmarred by fraud, errors, or suspicion are fundamental in maintaining our constitutional republic. I like the language there. State governments must safeguard American elections in compliance with federal laws that protect America's voter rights and guard against dilution of illegal voting, discrimination, fraud, and other forms of malfeasance and error. So some of the good pieces I pulled out: documentary proof of U.S. citizenship with the requirements of the Real ID Act. Identify unqualified voters registered in the state. And I mentioned that Homeland Security Secretary is dealing with that. The Commissioner of Social Security will take all appropriate action to make available the Social Security number verification service and other federal databases containing relevant information to election officials. And Secretary of Defense shall update the UOCAVA postcard application process to require documentary proof of United States citizenship. Election Assistance Commission, I'll skip that part there. And then the Attorney General will enter into information sharing agreements so that the DOJ is provided with information on all suspected violations of state and federal election laws discovered by the state. So I think this is all good. Some of these things are voluntary, and they're going to be fought out in the courts and so forth. But I do urge the election board to do what you can in your spheres of influence to make these reforms materialize. And that would be, I think, pressuring our Department of State and our legislators. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Okay. You have any comments from the board? No. Okay, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.